What's up, guys? Welcome back to another live stream on Jack Talks Jets. Um, actually, I have to test something really quickly, but welcome back, guys, to another edition of Jack Talks Jets lives. This is going to be another good live stream. Hopefully today we can get started with some calls. First, I just have to test something out really quickly. If you would just bear with me really quick. All right, and we are good. What's up, Bobby? Yeah. Um, I'll send the code right now for the first call-in of the night. Hopefully, it is not the last. You know, let's get a thing going right now. I'll actually pull up the link in just a moment. All right, here we go. So the meet code is going to be this. I'm actually going to post it in the chat. What's up, Connor Long? How you doing? All right, here it is. I don't use StreamYard like a lot of them do. So this is how I do it. If you want to call in, this is you're gonna have to copy and paste that link right there. Again, we are presented today by Nutmeg Adjusters. Pointing the wrong way. Right there, Nutmeg Adjusters is who we are officially presented by today. Great company. 203-333-5555. Just call them if you need anything for anything. Here's Bobby. What's going
Hey, how
on?
we doing?
What's going on, Bobby? How you doing?
Good.
You got what's up? How are the Patriots looking right now? They don't I know free agency doesn't start till March, but what are you thinking right now so far for them?
I'm really thinking it's going okay. I think, um, here, just you just give me a minute. I just gotta set up my phone. It's like fine. Um, I think we're gonna look good this year. I think we're still in the rebuilding process, and I think that Um, it's gonna take time for us to rebuild for what we were with Brady and all of that. We will never have a quarterback like Brady, but I think to become a contender to win a Super Bowl again, we need to rebuild. We need to take some time, um, focus on the young players, and we need to make sure though we are getting the right players for Drake May. I think we need to build the team around Drake May, and yeah, I think that's really it. I'm excited for the draft. I'm still wondering who we're gonna pick. Um, I think it's really set, what's available at the time, and that's really it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're not looking too good right now. I always pray on their downfall. But anyway, Connor says, "Why don't you do these shows on your main channel?" Well, Connor, the issue is, I did one a few years ago. YouTube thought I was under 13. I was at the time, but I'm not now. I'm trying to get it appealed, but they won't listen to me. They don't listen to anybody. So that's why they thought I was under 13. They banned me from doing a stream, and I'm not able to. And where do I paste the link to call in? Just go to Google Meet. I think if you have the app, or if you're on like a computer, then go to the website. But if you have the app, then just go to the keyboard icon. It's like it should be at the top of the screen, and that's where you should do it. But Bobby, any other thoughts on how you think Newtown's football season is going to go this year?
Newtown, I think, is going to be a very big contender this year. I know of last year we lost against New Canaan, but I think that if we keep doing what we're doing, we keep putting in the work, everybody coming in the weight room, getting in the work, lifting the weights, putting on weight, I think we can really be contender. We have a big game, first game of the season. I think that that's like a really New Canaan's a big one, and the they're the state champions of Class L, and I think we really need to show up that first game and really show the league what we're made of. And we lost a lot of guys this senior year, and I think that the class right below them is as good as they were. And I think that we can really step up this year, and I think we can be a very big good contender this year.
Yeah, Bobby, the thing about New Canaan, right, is I think they had a lot of seniors on their team this year, didn't they?
Yes, they do. They have a lot of seniors, but as we've noticed at their 7-on-7, they do not look that good. Um, and it could be wrong. I could be wrong. It is 7-on-7, right? There is no hitting involved, but last year they had they had a D1 recruit, I think, their nose guard. I think he went D1 or D2, but he was a very good player. Their quarterback was very good. I don't know where he ended up, but a lot of their seniors from last year ended up going to play collegiate ball. And I think that the seniors coming up um, may not be as good, or as I could say, may not be like as good as the seniors who just graduated. Um, but it is going to still be a tough game. New Canaan is always a tough game. Uh, and we're gonna have to work really hard this offseason to really prepare for that game.
Yeah, Bobby, thank you so much for calling in. If you want to call in again tonight, maybe you can hop back in, maybe if you want. If not, call in. I'll probably do another live stream sometime this week. But thank you so much for calling in, Mr.
No
Dina
problem.
Cola.
All right, Jack. Good
All
luck.
right,
Thank
later,
you.
Bobby. So everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Bobby DiNicola calling in tonight. If any of you who are tuning in here know who Jake Asman is, he is doing his current Asmaniac bracket fill out. I actually just filled out a bracket actually a couple minutes ago. Actually, I have Mikey Midnight winning the entire thing against either Beastbreaker or Chiefs fan, I think. Or I think I actually, no, I have Mikey beating Chiefs fan in the semis, I think. But if you guys know who he is, send it in the chat. Again, more call-ins if you guys want to call in for tonight. But let's get into some topics for the night. It doesn't work. Let's see. Connor, why does it not work? Hold on. Let me try. Let's see if I can figure out the problem. Really fast. Hold on. Connor, are you on a desktop or are you on like a phone? Are you on like a computer or are you on a phone? Or something. Like, are you on a computer or are you on like a phone, iPad, anything like that? Because it could depend. I'll see if it works for desktop though. You're on your laptop. All right. So, good thing I can probably do this and see how it doesn't work. So, new meeting. So, when you go to enter code or link, when you paste it, let me see how it works. Let me see if it works. Join. It works for me. I don't know. I don't know what it. Hold on. Try again, maybe. Maybe did you I don't know. Hold on. Let me see if I can resend it in the chat. So I don't know if that'll help, but I don't know. I think Bobby did it some way. I think he copy and pasted it. Like I think because he's on a phone. I think, but it worked for me. I just tried it on like another account. It worked for me. It let it in. So I don't know. Try again, maybe Connor, if you want to call in. But anyway, for today's topic, I want to talk about the draft really quickly. Who do I think the GM will be? Joey, the GM already got hired. Darren Muji, Joey. GM got hired like 3 weeks ago. No, I think maybe even like 3 weeks ago. I think maybe like around that. But I want to get into the draft really quickly, right? According to Jets Wire, Sauce Gardner wants the Jets to draft Tyler Warren. I like that. I mean, I like that. It depends. There's a lot of good picks at 7. The thing with us at number 7, though, is if we're looking for a quarterback, a lot of quarterbacks will be taken off the board before number 7. That's the thing, right? So Sauce Gardner recommends Tyler Warren. And here's what it says. New York Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner took to social media this past week to share his opinion on what his team should do at pick 7 in April's NFL draft. He mentioned signing T. Higgins prior to the draft or post. He mentioned signing T. Higgins, Mike Evans, or Calvin Ridley, as well as trading for Brandon Ayuk. So he really wants to build up. What I'm seeing is that he really wants to build up this routine of getting weapons for our new future quarterback, whether that be Justin Fields, Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. Who knows? The Jets are one of the only teams right now in the top 10 who have lots of options of who they can get. I mean, really every single team has options, right? But the Jets really are the Jets are one of these teams in the draft who, in their first round, top 10 pick, right? There's a new one, actually, I think. Yeah. Warren, right now, he's saying right here. Oh, you're right, Connor. What that was last year. That is my fault. But here, stating that Sauce Gardner recommended Tyler Warren. I think he posted this on Twitter somewhere or some type of social media. Yeah, he's saying, I was thinking D tackle, but bro, right here, yeah. He said he wouldn't be mad at this at all, really. I wouldn't be mad either. Warren is a unit. You know, Tyler Warren has all of these great attributes. 6'6", 257 pounds. He's very dominant. He has great hands. He's a dynamic threat to me. Explosive runner, and to me, he's most of a threat in the middle of the field, like as a slot. You know, he doesn't always have to be just in the tight end position, but when he's at receiver, I guarantee you 95% of the balls that he is targeted, he will catch, and he will at least get 10 yards in yak after that. And he uses, the thing about him also, speaking of yak, right, he uses his height. And, speaking of his hands as well, he uses his height to his advantage. So if he uses his height to his advantage, that's what really gets him, and his size, actually. That's what really gets him a lot of the yak as well, right? Yak meaning yards after catch. So I wouldn't be mad, especially if we were uncertain if we'll even have some tight ends on our roster next year, such as Tyler Warren or Jeremy Ruckert, right? Or Tyler Conklin. That's what I meant. The thing about Conklin, though, is I like Conklin. The thing about, I really like Conklin. He was good for us when he got targeted, right? Of course, ignoring that fumble from last year, which was a bad play, right? Aside from that one bad play, though, I do not think Conklin was a bad tight end for us. He really caught everything he was targeted to. He had lots of great plays this year. Really, again, he's one of those tight ends like Tyler Warren, who when he's in the middle of the field, he will catch contested balls. Simple as that. After watching a lot of his highlights, I wish the Jets could re-sign him because I think he'd be a key part of this offense, especially if we're going to go the running gun scenario, especially if we get Justin Fields, right? If we go the running gun scenario, I think Tyler Conklin will be a great blocking tight end for that, And especially with Tyler Warren. Like I mentioned, Tyler Warren, he's a dominating blocker as well. He's explosive. He squares up with the person he is blocking well, uses his feet to his advantage, never stops moving his feet, which I guarantee you that will definitely get you a good block. Never stop moving your feet, chopping them, and being having a base, squaring up with them. That's exactly what I think it makes a good tight end. Anybody could say that a tight end is only good because of their catching. The hidden gem about a tight end is definitely their everything. It's definitely their blocking, their running, their catching, their moves, or their movement, their mobility, everything. Really, it all comes down. An NFL position, even a football position in general. Excuse me. But an NFL position, not even just that, a football position in general, comes down to more than just what people see at their naked eye. Right. A wide receiver. Many people think, receivers just catch and run routes. That's it. No. They have to stock block. They must read the safety. They have certain assignments on every single play that they must memorize. There's a lot of technique that goes into it, mental stuff that goes into it too. Same with running back. Many people think, running back's just running. No. Reading. You got to look at blocking. Got to learn to block as well. Got to learn to catch. Got to learn to be square, have good feet, have good movement, have good mobility, right? Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a quick thank you to Bobby. I actually forgot to play this before he went on air. But Bobby, I made a little thing for Bobby before he joined, actually. Can I play it? Let's see if it'll let me. Let's put the monitor. Hold on. Let's put this thing off really quickly, and then let's get this Bobby thing going. ladies and gentlemen, that was for Bobby. Bobby, a great guest on the show, always tunes into the show. A great guy, one of my best friends, my football teammate, big Patriots fan, which I do not like. Of course, me and him always go back and forth when talking about. Me and him always go back and forth when talking about the Jets and the Patriots. But it's everyone, please subscribe to the main channel if you are coming across this. Subscribe to the main channel. If you are just coming across on Jack Talks Jets Live, this is not the main channel. This is the one for live streaming because, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, YouTube thought I was under 13 at the time. I'm trying to get it appealed, but it will not happen, unfortunately. But, there is the main channel in the chat. Hopefully it'll show up soon. Looks like it did so far. Can I highlight a chat, actually? I need to update Streamlabs, honestly, to get the highlight chat widget. If I can do that, live streams would be a lot better. Like, and I mean a lot better, But anyways, as we're talking about Jake Asman a couple minutes ago, Asman's actually having his Asmaniac bracket coming out today. Hopefully I can be in that next year. That's what my goal is, honestly. I'm going to try calling it as much as I can. I tried to call in before the stream, but Midnight Brothers, more important than me. They're legendary callers. They gotta get on the stream first, Especially Mikey, who is a new, relatively new to the Asmaniacs, right? And everyone loves him so far, including me. He is my favorite Asmaniac so far. Bobby Midnight's also great too. But the thing about Bobby is he's been kind of absent lately. And Mikey, really. I just found this out today. And I think Jake Asman actually found this out today too. Mikey Midnight was the one that got Bobby into the show in the first place. It's crazy. And Jake didn't even know that till today either. Still don't know why it's not showing up in the chat. Yeah, let's try again. This is the main channel. Again, you guys can call in too. Call-in link is in the comments. I'll paste it again. Again, this is my main channel, the one that is in the chat now. If you're coming across this one, this is just the live channel. My main one is this one in the chat right here. Jack Talks Jets, just normal Jack Talks Jets. Anyway, here is the meet link again. Anybody that wants to call in, ask me a question, what I think about the draft, who I think we're going to get at quarterback, any really question. But I want to hear you guys. Send some more chats, maybe send some super chats if you guys want. Really, really appreciate anyone who really calls in or sends a chat to keep the stream going, because that's how you make a good stream. But anyway, another look for me in the NFL draft. Who I like in the draft, Cam Ward, who by far is the QB1 of this draft class. I don't think there's even anyone that comes close to being the QB1 unlike Cam Ward in this chat or in this draft. He has great mobility, great pocket presence, great accuracy, and great awareness. I think that's really all of those are great attributes, especially for a quarterback. In today's game, a lot of especially in today's game, right? Everybody is more mobile. Everybody's faster. It's not unlike the 1980s or 70s, right? If you look at an offensive lineman now, they're not fat. They're like very big, but very muscular, right? They may have a little bit of chunkiness to them, but overall, they're all very strong and very fast, very mobile, especially for a lineman. I'm not saying fast in general. For a lineman, they're pretty fast. Like, if you look at the alignment back in the 1970s or 80s, there's no comparison. Or there's a bunch of comparison. A bunch. Like, if you took a picture of an offensive lineman in the 1980s and 70s and one of the 2010s and 2020s, there'd be a huge, Huge difference. But anyways, comment in the chat. Let me know some of your questions. The meet link is right there so you guys can call in and enter your name. If you can enter your name, actually, before the meet, so I can put that in the tag, that'd be good. If you can't, that's fine too. But send some chats. That's what's going to keep this live stream going. Keep it fresh. Keep it entertaining. You know, I also like Jackson Dart, Cam Ward. Jets need a mobile QB. I agree. I mean, every team really needs a mobile QB, you know? It's not really just the Jets. Every team needs one. Unless you really have a good pocket presence quarterback, then I feel like every team really needs one. Because, especially like I said, in today's NFL, everybody's getting better by the day, right? And if you don't have a quarterback, for example, Aaron Rodgers this past season, let's take a look at the Broncos game. Rodgers had such a hard time escaping from the pocket, especially because of that knee issue he had at the beginning of the season. You know, if you have a slow quarterback, right, unless you're some generational talent like Tom Brady or Stafford or Rodgers or Breeze, right, then I feel like you would be better off having a mobile quarterback. Because I feel like every single team needs at least one mobile quarterback on their roster, which unfortunately the Jets did not have last season. If you count Tyrod Taylor, I guess that would work, but he didn't really play last season, you know? He didn't really play. And especially because he's so injury prone, he could injure himself too, which is what I'm worried about if he is the starting quarterback next season. But, you know, Jackson Dart, Cam Ward, and Shedeur Sanders are all rumored to go to the Jets, especially if the Jets are rumored to trade up to the number 1 overall pick to get Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, more likely Cam Ward in that situation. The Titans would get the 7 pick, if the Titans get the 7 pick, they're either going to get Abdul Carter or Tet McMillan, in my opinion. I think the Jets could get Tet McMillan too. Speaking of him, Tet McMillan would be a good prospect for the New York Jets. I'm not saying the perfect one, but he would be a very great one. Wide receiver out of Arizona, very tall, 6'4", 6'5", I think, either one. It's a higher risk for injury, but it's what's needed. Yeah, I guess. But I mean, if they're young, if they're young, then I think it won't be. You know, it depends. It also depends on like their genetics or something, or how often they eat right, or how often they work out or stretch or do anything. But it all depends on factors, right? But a young mobile quarterback is really ideal, right? There's actually less risks, I think, for me. I believe there's less risks of a young mobile quarterback than an old non-mobile. Like how Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles last year. That's a perfect example, right? You see Lamar Jackson. You know, he didn't have a serious injury, a lot of serious injuries so far in the season because he's, you know, young and mobile. I think that's a good combination. Jaden Daniels played really I believe he played all the 18 games this season, including the wild card divisional and NFC championship. I'll have to double check that one, but I do believe that Jaden Daniels played every single game this season. But I just think a young mobile quarterback is really what you need. Now, when you think of young mobile, you think of Justin Fields, right? Especially because Fields is rumored to become a New York Jet very soon. My opinion on Justin Fields coming to the Jets, if this were to happen, I would not mind it at all. Especially, like I said, if we're going to run a run-first offense, right? I think Fields would be great in that scheme. Tyler Warren would be good in that scheme. You know, if we draft Warren and get Fields, I feel like that'd be a good combo for run and blocking scenarios, right? But the thing about Fields, though, I would like him. But the thing about Fields is I do not see him as a long-term quarterback. I see him as a good bridge quarterback, right? Maybe for next year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe, but not as a franchise quarterback. Of course, I want to win. If it was guaranteed that Fields would win us a Super Bowl, yes, I would take it. You need to get success, especially in this organization today. But you also have to look at the long term. Right? That's the thing about Fields. He's not really long term, in my opinion. If he was, who knows? We don't know that. But I don't know. A lot of people were comparing him, if he comes to the Jets, of how Sam Darnold went to the Vikings and absolutely dominated there after having poor quarterback play for almost 2 years now, ever since Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles. Or a year, I would say. But, you know, I would actually like that. I wouldn't mind Justin Fields one bit. Now, I want to talk about Matthew Stafford. Right. Stafford is most likely going to get traded this season. If he doesn't, I wouldn't really be that surprised, but I also would at the same time. Um, so I'd be semi-surprised actually. Stafford is rumored also to go. Stafford's favorite team right now is the New York Giants, and I definitely see that happening. The Giants need a quarterback. However, I don't know how likely it is that they'll get Stafford. That's the thing, especially because his age is a factor. He's getting kind of injury prone. I mean, not really, but he's getting there. Especially because Stafford, I think, is 37 years old now. So, especially if the Giants want a franchise quarterback, they'll only probably have him for 2, 3 years at best, maybe even 4 at most. Especially because he wants big bucks. You know, if the Giants, let me see if they're projected. I know the cap space actually just went up. So, Giants, I mean, they're looking okay. Let's see. They have, I believe, I don't know if they, I do not believe they will have any dead cap. Maybe they will. All right, so far the Giants have 48.4 million, but I think that's going to go up with the new cap space thing. So let's say it goes up, right? You would spend 3/4 of your cap space on a quarterback who's only going to be here or who's only going to be there for around 2 to 3, maybe 4 years, right? Especially if he retires early, then that's dead cap space. Or if he gets traded early, if it doesn't work out in New York, that's a lot of dead cap space in your organization. So I don't know how it'll work out with the Giants if he goes there. Now he's also rumored to go to the New York Jets. Now if he goes to the Jets, which I do not think one bit is going to happen. I don't even know why people are thinking he's going to go to the Jets. For me, I'm thinking, why would Aaron Glenn move on from an old quarterback just to get another old quarterback, right? And especially if Aaron Glenn wants a new start in New York, if he wants a franchise quarterback, why go after Stafford? He's gonna retire in 2 to 3 years anyway. Why go after Stafford now, right? I don't get it. I do not think it is a good move for the Jets to sign him. You know, again, it all depends on what the Jets' direction will go, what type of offense that Tanner Henstren will run. Mason Graham and Will Johnson are also good prospects for the Jets to draft. The thing about Will Johnson is he's very injury prone, especially with that toe injury he had recently. Johnson is a great corner, but I don't know how to, especially because with the loss of DJ Reed, if we do not bring him back, I do think Will Johnson would be good at that. If not, then I want to sign Charvarius Ward probably. That's probably my favorite to sign a quarterback or a cornerback. I apologize. Mason Graham is an interesting one. If we sign Graham, he'll have a tough time competing with Quinnen Williams. And if he does compete with Quinnen Williams, I do think him and Mason Graham will be a dangerous inner D line duo. But the thing about Mason Graham, he's very much like Quinnen Williams. So I feel like if other teams pick up on that, they'll know how to deal with it better. But again, we'll see what the future brings us. But Mason Graham is another great pick for the Jets if the Jets pick him at 7. Free agency here, right? This is again another free agency. It's very confusing this year. Obviously, I talked about Fields, right? But if the Jets go out and do not really sign that many key players, especially if what we need a receiver, we need a lot of people right now. So if the Jets can go out and sign some good players, I do think this offense will definitely improve as much as we can possibly get it. You know, it's only a matter of time too with Aaron Glenn, who hasn't even been the head coach now for 2 months. He's been the head coach for a month, not even 2 yet. So, I mean, we'll just have to see what direction they go in for the draft. Again, I really hope they go, maybe quarterback first. If we were getting a quarterback, because I heard Jackson Dart is a lot like Zach Wilson, right? Is they went to the same high school, they've had the same coach, they've had the same experiences, they even work out together. And I've heard, Dart is a lot like Zach Wilson, which concerns me, right? I don't want another Wilson deal again, right? And I do not think it was, and to be clear, I do not think it was entirely Wilson's fault. I do not. However, I just don't want the same thing to happen where we'll get rid of a quarterback in 2 years' time again, and Moogie and Glenn will be fired. I do not want that to happen. I want to trust someone like Cam Ward. Cam Ward, to me, like I said earlier in the stream, is the definitive number one QB in this entire draft. The number one QB in this entire draft, by far. By far. I think Shador is a close 2. However, I do not think it's, or not close to. I think Shador is 2. but nowhere near close as Cam Ward. Cam Ward had probably the best pocket presence out of any quarterback this season. Quinn Ewers, though, he's a good sleeper. Of course, his draft stock sky plummeted. It plummeted. He was projected to be maybe even at the start of 2024, right? And let's say in June or May 2024, he was projected to be the number 1 overall pick. And now he's dropped down to like rounds 4 to 6, which really concerns me. Especially with all the issues he had last year. He had a lot of, some issues last year. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets go after Quinn Ewers, though, late in the draft. That's the thing. If we get, like, our top needs over with in the first couple rounds, I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets go after Quinn Ewers in the draft. I really wouldn't. But, it's a very hard thing to think about as well, because if Quinn Ewers doesn't get drafted by the time. Did he declare? I believe he did. I think he did declare, yeah. He's projected to go 6th round, right? It's really confusing because a lot of other sources are saying different things. Like, if I look it up right now, I think Ewers will get drafted between rounds 4 and 6. But right now, he's projected to be drafted in the 2nd round by the Cleveland Browns. I don't see that. Maybe the Browns can pick him up later. I don't see him going 2nd round though. But that's what Google says. That's what a lot of these websites are saying. I don't see it. Especially with all the things that happened last year. I really think Ewers is really a 5th or 4th to maybe late 3rd at best, mid 3rd actually at best probably. But realistically he's probably going to get drafted 4th or 5th, I think. And that sucks too because Ewers I think is a great quarterback. I think Quinn Ewers is a great quarterback. And if he didn't have a lot of issues, he could be the number 1 pick right now. Or at least top 5. Top 10, maybe. But, Cam Ward just rose to the top, and now here we are. But I would actually be really interested to see how Quinn Ewers works out. Travis Hunter, too, though. Travis Hunter is probably going to go to I want to say Hunter either goes to the Giants, the Raiders, or the Titans. That's who I think he's going to go to. Same with Cam Ward. Cam Ward can go to many different teams. Yeah, Ewers. I think Ewers already declared for it. Yeah, he already had Arch Manning pushing him anyway as well. I'm actually really excited to see how Arch Manning is going to work with Texas next year. I'm very excited to see how that's going to work next season, especially with Michigan too. Michigan having a lot of quarterback controversy. Arguably the worst quarterback play we've seen in years by the Wolverines last season. The absolute worst. I don't think I've seen worse college football throwing in my entire life. It was absolutely atrocious last year. That's what I think, Alex Orji did not live up to the expectations that a lot of people were saying him to be. I thought Orji would be pretty good at it, but he got benched in like week 2, I think. I don't know. It was pretty disappointing to see. Especially with the loss of J.J. McCarthy, that really pushed out the luck for Michigan making it back to the playoffs. It's not even the fact that they didn't even make it to the national championship. It's the fact that Michigan, the year after winning the national championship, doesn't even go in the top 12. Bobby, do you mean like join back into the stream or join back for another call? Yeah, Michigan went through 3 quarterbacks. Yeah. You want to talk about new news in the NFL? All right, just tell me when you want to join. And I'll accept you right into the call again, and I'll play the Bobby thing I had for you. I don't know if you saw that. I got to make it better, though. Kind of a rush to make that. I kind of thought about that last minute. I think I made it, like, yesterday. All right. When you're ready, Bobby, just join back in and we can talk. I do think, yeah, Bobby, I would actually love to talk more with you, bro. I'm thinking about doing like a top Jack Talks Jets viewers thing. Making like a top 10. You're here to stay this time. Good job, Bobby. Good job. Hey, Bobby. Bobby, what's this? What's this, Bobby? School lunch every day? I can't go a school day without having some orange juice, right? You always got to have that during your school lunch. Makes it 10 times better, especially because the food isn't even that great. Really, the only good school food they have there are the burgers, the chicken sandwiches, and the taco bar. That's really it. I don't ever really get the daily options. They're not really my cup of tea, especially because the school food isn't really that great. The chicken literally bends like in half, like a full 180 when you bend it. It's not even crispy. It's not that bad though. I mean, it's honestly not that bad. If you add ranch to it, especially the spicy one, it's not even that bad. But can't go a meal without this. Bobby, Bobby, I'm gonna play this for you really quickly, actually. His mom.
Yes.
All right, you're on the air, Bobby. What do you want to talk about, pal?
I'm going to talk to you about Shadur Sanders not throwing at the NFL Combine.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that today. I mean, that is just shocking for a guy who's trying to make it. Not throwing at the NFL Combine is big.
yeah. I honestly that was a huge surprise for me. Honestly, because Sanders probably knows he's one of the top picks, but finding out that he didn't even pass at the combine is for me is really gonna start. It really concerns me on if he's NFL ready or not. Do you think the reason for that is because of his own confidence levels being down, or because of like anything else?
I think it's because of his confidence levels. Because why would you not go and want to be in the combine for this throwing? What you are literally a quarterback. You are the leader on the field. NFL scouts I've heard of are questioning Cam Ward's commitment because of what he did in the bowl game and against Iowa State, how he left his team, he quit on his team when they were down. And um maybe they could question about Shadur Sanders. Maybe he's not NFL ready. And I think that him not throwing is really showing that he may not be ready for the NFL. But I could be wrong. But that is a really big factor in drafting Shadur Sanders. And I think that without drafting him, that or without him throwing is going to be a really hard decision drafting him. And I think that he could drop in the draft because of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, I was thinking that maybe I was thinking the same thing. His confidence levels could be like that, or maybe he's just being lazy. Maybe because he knows he's going to be a top five pick. The thing about him though is I can't tell if he's humble or not, right? Especially with the songs, the tracks he's been making the last couple of months. What's that song called? Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Yeah, he really like his confidence levels seem to be. It used to be well. I mean, also too, he had great numbers last season. I think really, in my opinion, the confidence levels really dropped when um, he didn't get as a Heisman contender, which I felt like he could have with his numbers. His
Yeah,
numbers really did compete with Dylan Gabriel, and
right.
I think that that really shot down his confidence levels because he thought that he was going to be a Heisman contender, and I think also too they didn't really want to see two Colorado players in a Heisman candidate. And I think that that really shot down his levels, and I think that that may have led him to what he's doing now and is kind of worrying about himself and not worrying about the draft and stuff. So
Right, yeah. Do you think Coach Prime has anything to do with this? Do you think it's because he's been coached by his dad all 4 years of college? How do you think he's gonna adjust to that?
I think Shadur, if I'm being honest, I really am worried because Shadur Sanders seems like, I mean, we saw him at Jackson State. I mean, he had Dion, and we all thought he was going to go to Colorado without his dad. But then he ended up going with his dad, and I think a lot of people are
Yeah,
wondering how is he going to be able to compete in the NFL without his dad? Um, I mean, we have seen him play very good collegiate level football. Um, but like I think it's just weird how Deion Sanders has been there his whole collegiate career, and we've never seen him without his dad. And I think that that's just a little weird to me. You know,
yeah.
I
The thing
think that
about
we never see sons and dads like on the field together. Like I know Deuce Vaughn's dad was is with the Cowboys, and
yeah.
so is he, but he never coached him. And I think we could see that Deuce Vaughn at where'd he go? TCU, I think.
No, he was at Kansas State.
Kansas State, we saw him put up numbers without his dad. And I think a lot of people are worrying about what Shadur can do without his dad in with him on the field.
Right. Bobby, the thing about Coach Prime, right? Deion Sanders. It confuses me though, because half of the time I do think that's part of the reason why his confidence levels are going down. But if you think of Dion, right, he's a very hardcore guy, and I don't know what the likelihood of it being is that he's like babying his son. Have you seen anything like coming out about that lately? Has like anybody said like anything or even mentioned how if Shador's favorited by his dad?
I haven't really, but I don't really think Shadur is favored by his dad because if he really was, they would have found a cube. If he wasn't, if he was favoriting him, we would have seen it. I mean, Shadur Sanders wouldn't be putting up these numbers. He wouldn't even be in the talks about a Heisman candidate. Um, if he was pulling up bad numbers and he was starting, we would all know the truth. And I think him putting up the numbers really shows that it's not really about his dad being the coach. It's about him just being a good player in general. I know in his early stages of the collegiate level, he was trained by Tom Brady. Um, and I think that not saying he's the next Tom Brady, but I think that he's not. Um, yeah, no. Sorry. All right.
What was
I
that,
think
bro?
yeah, my dad is talking to me. I think I think Shadur though is not favored. I think his dad chose the right decision to start him, and we would not be seeing these numbers that he's putting up if he was favorited.
Yeah, that's a good point, Bobby, because obviously I do think Cam Ward is the definitive QB1 in this draft, right? I don't know if you were watching a couple
Yes,
minutes ago.
100%. I think Cam Ward is the QB1 in this draft, and I think he will. If the Titans do not pick up Aaron Rodgers, have you been hearing the news?
I have, yeah,
Aaron
Titans and
Rod
Colts.
Aaron Rodgers is talking to the Titans, and I want to get your opinion on that. Do you think the Titans are going to trade that pick if they get Aaron Rodgers? Because why would you keep that pick not to pick a quarterback? I mean, you have Cam Ward right there sitting for you. Why would you go for no offense to Aaron Rodgers? He's a great
He's old. He's
Hall
old.
of Fame QB. He is old. He is old. And I think if the Titans are gonna go and pick him up, you have to have another way out. You have to be able to get something out of this trade.
Of course.
And um and maybe he won't go to the Titans, but I mean, if they are talking to him about picking him up, that is something to show to the other teams that people might start panicking and might start trying to get this trade in, trying to get the trade with teams who need a quarterback. Um, and I think that's a real big issue with the Titans is they might be making the wrong decision here. Throwing away and we always see teams taking a chance on quarterbacks in the draft. That's just part of drafting a quarterback. You're always going to take a chance. Um, but I think the Titans not giving Cam Ward a chance is very weird and giving a 40-year-old quarterback a chance after last season with the Jets, he didn't do that well.
No,
Um,
no, actually, no. He actually did do pretty good. If you look at his stats, he actually did better than Patrick Mahomes that entire season. If you look at the
wow, I
stats,
actually didn't know that.
yeah,
Oh.
gotta check your facts there,
But
Bobby. I know you're a
I
Patriots fan.
know,
You
I
can't dig on
know,
the
but
Jets all the time.
whenever I watched Jets, like whenever they were on, I always just saw
He's
he wasn't
old.
living to the
He's old.
expectations that he used to.
Of
And
course, he's not going to. He's 41, Bobby.
yes, yes, yes,
Last time he
yes,
won
you're
an
right. You're right.
MVP was when he was 38. Now he's turning 42 or 43 in or
Um,
no 42
but
actually in
I just
December.
want to get your opinion. Are they making the wrong decision here, going for Aaron Rodgers, a 42-year-old quarterback, or are they going to go and draft his quarterback and take the risk? I want to hear your opinions on this.
Both yes and no. Mostly, I think it's a mistake because obviously, as we said, Rodgers' age is a factor. They're only really going to have him for one season, one maybe two at best. Especially with the condition he's in right now. Tore his Achilles a year and a half ago against Buffalo. Had knee and hamstring issues this year with the Jets. I can really only see it the furthest it can go with the Titans, really 2 years. And we're not even sure if he's going to go to Tennessee. Pittsburgh is actually the favorites right now to trade for him.
Yes, I have seen that. Pittsburgh is one of the favorites
Yeah,
to draft. But I just still don't get why they are not keeping Fields. Also, like I think these teams are making a big mistake.
right. Fields had a
Fields,
good year
we
though.
we have seen Fields on the Steelers in the beginning of the season when Russell Wilson was out we saw him playing at a NFL level that he did not in Chicago. Let's be
He
honest.
went 4-2 with
His
them. He went 4-2 with the Steelers to start off.
I know, and he had a winning record. I still don't see why these teams are not taking a chance on these young quarterbacks and trying to go for these old quarterbacks.
Well, the thing with Fields, right? The thing about him, it's not. I don't think it's really personal against Fields. It's just that Justin Fields didn't really match the scheme of the offense that Mike Tomlin looks for. Yeah, he went 4-2 with them, but it's not really. Again, he's not really. He's a good bridge quarterback, like we said. He bridged good well for Kenny Pickett in between Kenny and Russell, right? Led the Steelers to a good record, but he's not really a long term quarterback you look for. So that's why, especially with his cap space, if you let him go, or if you keep him for a couple more years, then let him go, that's going to put the Steelers into dead cap space. So if they just let him go now, they will not have to worry about that, especially if Mike Tomlin doesn't see him running with the scheme. But the thing about Russell Wilson, I don't know why the Steelers don't keep Russell Wilson either. I didn't think he did either even that bad with them.
Yeah, I didn't really think he did that bad. I think he did well with the offense and he brought them to the playoffs and I know they lost, but still I would have signed him for another year. Have you been hearing that the Raiders are talking about Russell Wilson?
I have,
Um,
yeah. I think the Raiders, if Russell actually leaves, the Raiders are actually the favorites to get him right now. Under
but then there's also I've just been hearing this. I really don't know if it's true, but we've seen yesterday that the Rams gave a grant to Matthew Stafford to permission to talk to other teams.
that
So
is
they
true.
really
That is a fact. Yep.
they might they are really showing that they might give him away. They might let him walk.
Yeah. The thing
And
with the Rams, though, right? I have Darnold going to the Rams. I have Sam Darnold becoming a Los Angeles Ram this season. I
that
think
is a
Darnold
good
is
that's a
a
good
good
pick.
fit with them. If he doesn't go back to the Jets, which, of course, I love Sam Darnold. I would love for him to come back, but realistically speaking, he's not going to come back. If he doesn't re-sign with Minnesota, again, Minnesota's, again, one of those teams. Why move on from Sam Darnold? This guy led you to a 14-3
I know,
record.
that's what I'm saying. These teams are moving on with these quarterbacks that are showing good potential, and they're showing that Sam Darnold actually showed up this year, and I was shocked. Sam Darnold is a real good quarterback this year, and like Stephen A said, he could turn into the Baker Mayfield that we see today with the Bucks. Baker Mayfield was on I don't know how many teams in 1 year.
Yeah,
And
Panthers, and Rams.
Browns, Panthers, Rams. I mean, geez, the guy went from three different teams. He went from the Browns to the Panthers, then to the Rams. And then he went and signed with the Bucks, and he led the first year he was with them. He did pretty good with them, and they've just shown that he can actually be a playoff contender with the Bucks. And I think that Sam Darnold could become a Baker Mayfield right now, and next season he could lead his team to the playoffs again. But for the Vikings to give up Sam Darnold right now is a really bad decision because first of all, you have
I
JJ
agree.
McCarthy, who tore his ACL, I believe,
I think it was MCL.
and MCL, and he was out for the season. You have no clue how he is going to play, how he's going to do with the offense, and I think that not even giving Darnold the chance, I think you really should keep JJ and keep Darnold and see how JJ McCarthy will be in preseason. And if he does really good, then you know that you have a quarterback if Sam Darnold doesn't get the job done.
Right. It'd be so funny too if Rodgers goes to the Vikings and completes a full Brett Favre circle.
That would be crazy
But Bobby, talking
because
about your Patriots here, do you think they're gonna get T Higgins? Because Bengals right now are working on a good deal with them. An NFL report just came out yesterday on the app saying the Bengals
I
are really
know.
close. They're really close to getting him back on a long-term deal too, not even a short term. It's like 4 or 5 years.
Um, I'm really nervous about that because T. Higgins is a great player. I watched him in college. He's from Clemson. He was a great player in college. And I think he's a very sleeper. He's a really he's a sleeper and he's really I wish if Jamar Chase was not the wide receiver one, T. Higgins would be the wide receiver one and he would be getting the job done. And I think if he stays at the Bengals, he's going to be a wide receiver too. And I think if he really wants to get the stats and um he's still decently young. Um and I think that if he goes to the Patriots or any team with a young quarterback or young future, I think he could build that team around him
Well,
And
Joe Burrow's still
he
young too. Don't forget that. I mean, I think he's
I
only like
know, but
26.
think about it, right? They have Jamar Chase. They have their future wide receiver. If T. Higgins stays with the Bengals, right? Like you're basically saying to yourself, I don't really like want to be like better. I want to just stay as the second guy.
Well,
I
I
think if
mean,
T.
a
Higgins,
second guy is better than third guy, right? Especially when he was the second guy for Cincinnati. He led them to a Super Bowl. Him and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, they all led him.
he did.
He did, And I think the majority of his thoughts, right, is I want to win a Super Bowl. I don't want to go to a place that's going to be in a
You're
rebuilding
right.
stage for the next 3 years, 2 years, maybe. I
And
want to
I
win a
think
Super
that's
Bowl
also
now.
the thing too, right? Like I think he wants to win and I think he could see the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. And they did struggle with a lot of injuries last year and just players just not getting the job done. And I think this year if they could just get the job done and stay healthy, I think the Bengals could be a big contender this year um in the Super Bowl if T Higgins stays.
Yeah,
Um
yeah. Even not Jettas. Jamar Chase said he wanted T. Higgins to stay with him.
I know, yes, and I think that Um, that's the whole thing about the Bengals is, their offense is such a threat that, I mean, we've seen it before. They wiped out the Chiefs in, um, I think was it the AFC Championship when they went to the Super Bowl, or was it
Yeah,
the
it was the
Conference
AFC. It
Championship?
was AFC Championship.
AFC Champ we saw them compete with the Kansas City Chiefs that year, and they were supposed to go to the Super Bowl. They were really good that year, and we saw them compete, and with everyone healthy and they basically almost the same team, when they went to the Super Bowl. I mean,
They were up
it's
by 4 points with a minute and a half left before they lost. They could have won it.
yeah, they could have won that game. And I think that T. Higgins, if he wants to stay at the Bengals, he wants to win. He wants to win a Super Bowl, and maybe after uh his contract, he may be a little bit older because I think they're gonna give him a good deal. He may wanna go somewhere like, look what D-Hop's doing. He's going to another contender, like he went to the Chiefs. They went to the
D
Super
Hop may
Bowl this
retire, I
year.
think, actually, soon.
I think he will. Yeah, I think he will soon. But I think T. Higgins might do that as well to go and try and do this again. That's a really good point, Jack, and,
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
what if
you
you
are
guys pick up
right.
Devonte Adams? He's walking in free agency this year. Yeah, I mean
I
he
know.
did
I
pretty
think
good.
Davante Adams is a real sleeper. I think that the Raiders did not treat him well at all. I think that um, whatever team he goes to, they need to treat him right and they need to want to win. He wants to win, I think, and he's going to go to a team that's going to want to win. I really want to see where Tyreek's going to go because after his reaction, after that last game, he really showed he wants to get out of Miami. Um, he does not want to stay there, and we've seen Twitter tweets of him saying he wants to stay in Florida, which could indicate he could go to Jacksonville, he
Or
could
Tampa
go to
Bay.
Tampa.
Yeah.
And that's the big one. Tampa Bay with Tyreek to Tampa Bay could be a realistic thing
Well, then
because
what are they gonna do with Godwin? You know.
Godwin, I think they're worried about him with his injury and you know, Mike Evans, isn't Mike Evans a free agent? I think he is. Um,
I I believe I don't believe so. I think he re-signed last year actually, but let me see. Actually, because if so, the Jets could actually go after him too. Is Mike Evans a free? He's going to be a free agent again next year, not this year.
so next year, oh wait. Uh wait. Why am I seeing that he is? That's weird.
It said that he's going to be a free agent 2026.
Yes. Yeah. Um, but Godwin though, um I feel like the Bucks may be worried. I mean, I am a little bit worried of how Godwin may play after coming back from this injury. We know he is not the youngest, and a lot of young players can easily recover from these injuries, but Godwin is not young, and I think that they're worrying about um how this injury is going to affect the way he plays. And I mean, we've seen him play good football. Before his injury, he was literally the top receiver in the league in stats. And right after he got injured, Jamar Chase started to pop off. Um and that's what happened. And I
It
think
was really
that
right after they won the Super Bowl that he really started to decline.
yeah, yeah, and I think Godwin, they're worrying about him, and I think Tyreek may just go to the Bucks either way. Um, Tyreek wants to win. We've seen him. He wants to win. Uh, we've seen him at the Chiefs. He's won, but I think really he just wants to win right now because he knows his career is starting to go to the end. And and I think he knows that his career is starting to end and that he kind of just may need a little bit more of a better team. I know the Dolphins may be struggling with their team right now. Tua, he's not looking the best. Another concussion could end his career. Um, and they just released Mostert a little bit ago.
Realistically, it should have ended
Um,
his career after that Bengals one.
I know it really should have. And I think I think he just wants to move on from the Dolphins, and I think that the Dolphins just aren't a good fit right now because they are struggling with other priorities and they
Yeah,
can't get the job done.
yeah. And Bobby, I actually have a question for you about Patriots again. Would you like, with Ramondre Stevenson's disappointing season last season, would you like to upgrade that position? Maybe
I
trade up for
actually
Ashton
would
Gent. Maybe
because
trade down for
Ramondre
Justin
Stevenson.
Genty.
Here, keep going.
Maybe you can trade down for Ashton Genty or draft him at number 4.
Yeah, I think I really would like to move on from Stevenson. We've given him many chances to really show out, and this season was very disappointing from him. Um, and I'm gonna be honest, the year before I really was disappointed in him too. Um,
You guys should
I
have
think it
never moved
was
on from Damian Harris in the first place, I think.
yeah, we should have. The second game of last year, not this year, last year against the Bengals, he fumbled and we could have won on the 2 yard on the Bengals 2 yard line. He fumbled and it just the same stuff happened that year and this year as well. He just started to not play football, like just like ETN, Travis Etienne. Everyone thought that he was going to be a top running back in the league this year, and he just totally dropped. And he just really played horribly. And I think that the Jaguars may move on from him after next season.
Same with
I
James
think
Robinson. He was a former Jaguars running back. He was supposed to be
James
top of the league.
Robinson, I think, was I really did not understand why they gave him up. I really never got it. I never really gave it. I really never really knew about it.
Yeah, and then when he
Um,
went to the Jets, he did horrible.
yeah, and I think I really don't know why they would give him up because he was not playing that bad with the Jaguars, and I think that that was just. And I think after he went to the Jets, I think just it just got in his head. Um, and I think that that's really what happened. And I think he really did not do that bad. Um,
He didn't.
at all with the Jaguars, and I really did not know, um, what they were doing.
Yeah, and I want to ask you another question. During the 2018 season, 19 and 20, would you have if you were the head coach, if you were Bill Belichick, would you have started James White or Sony Michelle week 1 of any of those 3 seasons?
James White.
Really, James White?
Yes.
I think Sony
Um,
Michelle had an awesome rookie year. Like, well, it also depends on the year. I get it. Like, if it was Michelle's rookie year, who would you have started?
was Michelle's rookie year. Michelle,
Yeah, yeah. But I agree
100%.
with you though. For the rest of the years, White had more talent overall. I think he was a better receiving back,
Yeah.
honestly, than running back.
Yes, you are totally right. I also would like to talk to you about what do you think the Raiders are gonna do with Pete Carroll? What pickups do you think they need, to have to really build up the Raiders and be a good contender this year? Because we thought that the Raiders 2 years ago, um, with Jimmy Garoppolo, uh, were gonna be contenders.
We all thought
They
he was
could
going to be
have
the
been
franchise quarterback.
contenders.
He only played 4 games. That's it. I think around 4 games.
I know, and I thought in the beginning of the year when they got Jimmy Garoppolo, they would have Devontae Adams, they had all these players. I really thought that they were gonna be a contender. I thought that they could be a playoff contender, and things just started going downhill.
It's
Um,
sad,
but
honestly.
I'd
It's
just like
sad.
to hear your opinion. Who do you think they need to pick up? Who do you think Pete Carroll needs to pick up to really build up the Raiders this season.
Well, first of all, in the draft, they need to get a franchise quarterback. Simple as that. They cannot have
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew being their QB1 heading into next season. I love Minshew as a good backup. He's a solid backup quarterback. He's not starting material to
And
play
we've
all
seen that.
17.
We've seen that as a
We've seen it.
solid
Yeah.
backup quarterback.
Won 1-15 with Jacksonville 2020, you know. That's he's not a good starting, but he's a great backup. Like I think he's one of the most reliable backups in the entire league, but he's not a reliable starter.
There's also talks that they could build around Aiden McConnell.
I don't see it. I don't see
I
it.
really don't
I
see
mean,
it either.
I don't think he's also starting material. We saw that last season with Las Vegas, his rookie season. Again, that was his
I
rookie
think
season.
I think he's the Bailey Zappi. I think he's a solid backup.
It's a Mac
He's
Jones.
just
He's a Mac Jones, I think.
Yeah, Mac Jones. There you go. Perfect. He's a Mac Jones. He did okay his rookie season. Um, he did okay, and then it just started going downhill for him. And I think he's another Mac Jones, and I think that
Yeah.
they will soon probably trade him or release him.
Right. And
Um,
by the way, Bobby, did you hear I'm joining LTFE?
you are,
I
you
am.
are
Yeah, I got fired.
fired from what?
My other team.
Oh, 3M. So what are you doing? Are you going to manage our team?
I don't know. Blaze has to text me back. I'll see what he says.
I think you should. LTFE is a great religion. It's a culture. We all care for each other, and I think I'd be happy for you to join the team.
Get out.
And
I'm joking.
I'm not joking. I'm not joking. We are for real. This is LTFE, and we're ready to compete. And 3M Elite has
I think it's gonna
nothing
be
on us.
legit.
They have nothing on us, I think. Um, as you know, we have Cam Colgren, varsity player, Luke Labiro, varsity player, and we have JP Santa Croce, a Newtown JV player. We have Jagger Tammany, who is very, very nasty at senior league. Um, we have a lot of other great players um, that are ready to play. We have Beckett Williams, who was on JV for Newtown. And we just have a lot of players that are ready to play, and I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to. That'd be great for you to be part of the team.
Yeah. Bobby, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'm gonna wrap it up right here. Bobby, join in again this week. I love having you on, bro.
I will. I will join back. It's fun.
Yeah.
This is great.
All right, everybody. This is Jack